Yeah, is that all right?
Dude,
Perfect.
you look
Crystal clear.
amazing. Look at that beard. God damn.
I don't know how to trim it up, so have been letting it grow because I don't know how to. One eye trying to trim this thing up would be a hack job, so
Just
it's just
one
growing for the
side
time
looks
being.
amazing.
I tried one time to trim it up, and I looked like a crazy magician. So, and I don't have the guts to go to a barber, even though one of my best friends works at so yeah, I either grow it out or I shave it all off. And so
Dude, keep
getting
growing it.
lazy.
Keep growing it, man.
Yeah.
Dallas, dude, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. Look, we're both huge fans of Maylene and what you've done. So yeah,
That's awesome.
it's awesome to have you chatting with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Stoked to see you guys come back in such fine form too. You kind of really threw us a curveball in this one. Like when the song got announced, we were like, "Sorry, what?"
Yeah, and like we wanted to kind of be different. Like we did everything like our selves, so it was like we wanted it to have that. What do they do? And
Yeah, hell yeah.
yeah, and even a lot of it was kept. Some of the vocals were done when I was still trying to quit pain meds, and I was going through withdrawals. And like the first verses, we kept those original. It was me in this room, which this is the room I have been in since my accident. So yeah, my parents' house. So it's crazy. The guys that run a website called Lamgo, they were just here. They just left doing a bit about the history, I guess, and my accident, but how many like bands and people like came out of like this little house and area. So it was cool.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, it's a very heavy new track as well. It's a lot more sort of wild and abrasive and aggressive than we've heard from you. Well, at least since the first album.
Yeah, it was just we were like, because our last record, we kind of did what we were told, like pretty much. It basically was. They told us that like we're not gonna push you unless you make something more marketable. So we went with the new producer, and it was like one of the worst. I mean, there's still parts of the album I love, but it was one of the worst things I ever did because I didn't put my back. Because when it came time to like, it really ripped a lot of what we wanted to do in the songs. It got really and so my accident happened. I thought I'd never do music again, and when we decided to do it, we're like, let's. I just wanted to go full on. Me and the other guys were like, let's just do, uh, let's go as far as we want to because now we don't have anyone telling us what to do, and so it's kind of what that song is, and we thought that would be the best way to hopefully kind of make. I wanted to get across like emotions kind of in music, if that makes a little bit,
100%. Yeah, yeah.
and I wanted people to hopefully feel a little bit like what my accident was like. So that chaotic, uncomfortable, anxiety, kind of like that. It kind of was written about like, and in the vein of it, and the song's about me going through my accident and the different, yeah, kind of
Yeah.
coming in and out of dying, almost dying and back, and like in and out of consciousness, like later on. So we try to use like capture some of that. So
Was recording it a stressful or cathartic experience for you? Obviously, you'd be like bringing up a lot of emotion based around that. Was that like a positive experience or something that was hard to do?
it was more like therapy, and it was. I mean, I remember bawling my eyes out like constantly. Like, there's even still times where like if I hear it and I'll hear a lyric and it'll just like get me choked because I wrote it as about uh as real as I could get, on
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so a lot of the stuff, some stuff people read it and like it just sounds like whatever, but it's like means like something really like great, like I was talking about that today. Like there's the line that says like will death take gold for the home crowd? And the Olympics were going on while I was in the hospital. So I remember, even though I couldn't hear, see, walk, talk, anything, I still remember knowing that kind of. So little things like that are in there. But yeah, it was therapeutic, and but it was very hard. And but yeah, that's really the reason I wanted to do it, was I felt like to try to share what I'd been through with other people, or and try to convey like, you know, what I've gone through, and like, hey, we're all in this thing together, you know, like we all go through crazy experiences, you know, because people all the time are like, why you have it so much worse? And I'm like, hurt's hurt, man. Like
Yeah.
going through a crazy breakup to a job, whatever, it's all still the same feelings there. And so I kind of wanted to, and that's one of the main reasons I think I'm still here and I play music and do things, just to let people know, like, hey, we're all in this together, and this crazy thing called life.
It's a very selfless uh, approach to thinking about it when you've gone through what you've gone through. And you know, we may have viewers here who aren't familiar with you or what happened, but and I'm sure there's plenty of places they can check all that out if they want. We don't want to drag you through it all over again, but
Oh
I think
yeah.
it's just a really selfless and great way to look at things. You know, I mean, everyone is obviously going through a lot of hard shit, but it all affects us the same way realistically. But I mean,
Yeah.
you've gone through a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I've gone through yeah, it was I made up for all the year. I never broken a bone until then, and like there was a lot more other things that happened to me
Way to
afterwards. Just like,
overcompensate.
yeah, like even one of my therapists was like, I never even heard of, like, it's like what my face case came dislodged from my skull in a couple of places. And she's like, I never even heard of that. And so like I did a number. We're still trying to figure out like all the and I just found out I've damaged my back in the accident 6.5 years later. But yeah, it's yeah. Before my accident, I was one of the people too that was like, I couldn't wear contacts. Like it would weird me. I didn't want no one touching near my eyes, and I was like, I don't know if I could ever have surgery or something, because I never really broken a bone. And like now, it's like when they were uh, soldering my tear duct shut so I can, because I don't make tears, I was like completely at peace. Or when they sewed my eyelids half shut so I could retain moisture. I'm so, you know, and people would always make fun of me because I would like get nauseous at the sight of giving blood, but I could have tattoos, and I'm like, you, and like now it's like normal, you know. I'm so used to so it's weird, like we don't think we can go through certain things, but when we do, we're in those situations, it just becomes the norm, you know. It's but a lot of times, like what you're saying, to add on that, I was with some people in therapy that didn't take it that way. I remember a guy, he had wrecked a motorcycle and taken almost like half his face, and like Saint lost an eye, same thing. And I remember he was just like, I hate my life, I want to die. And so it is easy for us in life to we can either choose two different paths, you know, the make the best out of it and make the most of the situation, or make the, you know, go the darkest route and be bitter and angry and and take, and that's, so yeah, it is I don't know how I can. I mean, I almost see my accident as like a gift, because I see life so much different now. That's
Oh
a weird
wow.
thing to say because of what everything I've gone through. Like, how is that a gift? But I'd rather be how I am now, even though I have one eye, I see more than I ever have, than how I was before. And I, you know, down and was
Yeah.
always thinking, you know, like, why did this happen or why that happened? And now it's like complete, you know, I don't even think about that, the old problems I used to have.
It's kind of a follows on from a question I had a second ago, which when you're talking about saying like your face attached from your skull and there's things that they've never seen before. Do you look at any of that in a way of being like how tremendously like lucky you are to have had that experience, but still walk away and have some experiences that no one else has had and no one's seen before, and what that means for you to be able to survive that and come out the other side? It is a hard
Yeah,
thing because you don't want to be like, I'm lucky, but there is also, do you have that realization at the time?
yeah, and not at the time. And I've even had like one of my best friends that started a band called Underoath with me. He died in an accident like a year and a half ago, and like I had
Yeah, I
like
saw
it's
that.
almost like survivor's guilt, where I was like, his life was so much. I mean, he was such a good. He should have made it. Why I should have died, you know, like, and and I've learned that not to, you know, it is a miracle I'm alive. I don't know what I know why I survived to hopefully help others and be helped by others, you know. But yeah, it's a weird thing of, you know, wondering like, well, how did I make it? And he, you know, and like,
Yeah.
and I don't try to get wrapped up in that as much because I don't know anything. The older I get and the more I've done the accident, it's like I know less about uh anything. I just know what I feel in my heart and whatever. But I kind of forgot what your question you asked me, so I just went on a rabbit hole. Good short term memory, so I don't even remember your question.
You
But
kind
we
of got
kind
around
of
it
started
enough.
going there. Yeah, I get lost a lot of times, like good fun short term memory.
How's that go in terms of the lyrics? Is that something because you're writing it down, you find it easier to retain, or do you lose the lyrics a bit more nowadays?
You know what's crazy? We just played our first shows back, and I thought I didn't know how I would remember the lyrics. We were going to get a teleprompter because I didn't. And our first show, I even had people on the side of the stage. We didn't the teleprompter, but I had lyric sheets printed out for
Yeah.
so if I ran over, someone could show it to me. And it just like kicked in like a out of like just reflex, and I just remembered them all. I remember that was afterwards. I was like, dang, I remembered them all. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Dude, that
wild.
is incredible.
Or if I practice something, it gets stuck in my head. Like
Like
I
muscle
remember a
memory.
while ago. Yeah, well, I was trying to do an audition for I don't know what film it was. I'm so glad I didn't get it, but I remember like 4 pages of dialogue and like it's like Rain Man. It was stuck in my head and I knew it all. And it's like so if I practice something, that stays, but I have to keep doing it. But if I stop, I'll forget. So like little things like a question or if I'm doing something, I'll forget afterwards. But if I
Yeah.
force myself to keep thinking that same thing or practicing the same words, like it gets kind of lodged in my brain.
I was reading a thing, it was talking about like creative types. I think it was an interview with Gwen Stefani from No Doubt. And she was saying that she'd read that creative types, particularly like musicians who write their own lyrics, often have no problems at all with regurgitating their own lyrics. But when they try and do a cover or something that's not theirs, they haven't had like any tie to like from the get-go. They have so much trouble remembering that. I wonder if that's a similar situation here, that because you wrote them, they like sit within you naturally.
Yes, and I didn't even know I would be able to do it, and it happened. But it was like riding a bicycle. It just kind of happened. I mean, it surprised all of us because we're like, dude, I didn't need. That's pretty awesome.
Thing to think
One
about.
less thing. Yeah. One less accident averted. You know, because that would have been
Yeah.
hilarious if I would have, and I had to like an old person going inside the stage and be like, "Well, I wish I would have got the projector, or, you know, the teleprompter," and I'm having to read
I
the lyrics. Like
I
that would
dare
have been
say,
awesome.
I dare say anyone in the crowd that was a Maylene and the Sons of Disaster fan would have probably let that slide. They would
Yeah.
have probably
Well, it
let
was
you get away with it.
when we played Furnace Fest, the mic didn't work for the first three songs, and I had in ears, so it was working in my ears. I didn't know, but the
Oh,
crowd was so loud that even the other guy that didn't have it thought that the mic working. So like
That's wild.
three songs later, I thought they were just yelling like "Happy for us," and they were screaming, "Turn on the mic!" And yeah, so yeah, that helped me out too. Is yeah, having people help me make sure I
yeah.
didn't forget the lyrics.
Now I got to say, touching on you mentioned about one of the founding members of Underoath that unfortunately passed away as well. A lot of people may not actually realize that you did, what was it, 3 albums with Underoath before Spencer joined?
3.
Yeah, and I just got to say, as much as I love Underoath, I'm very glad that you moved on and started Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, because you guys, Every Time I Die, He's Legend, were just absolutely like massive inspirations for my own band, you know, going back sort of
Oh, that's awesome.
7 and 10 years ago. Dude, we have been trying to get back together, and every jam we have, we still jam Dry the River. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Um,
So thank you, because yeah, that whole era of that southern hardcore rock just was so fucking cool, and yeah, it was just rad.
yeah, it was when I did start doing Maylene, everybody was like, that's what you should have been doing all along. Because I grew up on a dirt road, like I was riding dirt bikes, like I was pretty country out, even though it's Florida, Central Florida is pretty country. And I love like um a lot of like I love a certain part, like even a lot of the country Australians. What is it? Is it? Am I right? I'm gonna screw this up. Is it? Are like redneck Australians bogan, or what's it called?
Well
Am I
done,
wrong?
sir. Yeah, well done.
Yes, that's like Central Florida people.
Yeah.
But so I love that whole thing. But yeah, when I was doing Underoath, I was trying to, because they lived in like the St. Pete, so that's like the coast, you know.
Yeah.
Same thing can probably in Australia. The coast is like the, but you get inward a little bit, and then so it was like me. I was doing something that didn't feel natural. So when I started Maylene, everybody was like, "Yeah, that is you. That's what you should have been doing all along." But yeah, it was fun doing kind of cutting my teeth on, you know, starting Underoath and
Mm.
building a band that way, and it was fun. And like even I think up and yeah, right before they did their only chasing, and I'm so happy for those guys. They really went on and did great, and I'm good friends with those guys.
No, that's awesome.
So yeah, it is. It's a lot different, which, and I don't even know, like, seeing myself doing it's weird. I don't. It would be funny.
It's also, as you said, like it's all learning experience and growth. And if you hadn't have done that, you might not have, like Maylene might have not have become what it was or is, because you wouldn't have had those like previous foundations to kind of grow upon and find what you really liked
Yeah.
doing.
And the weird thing is, well, I don't know. This is my own personal thing, but like after like Underoath was already building, so we knew it was going to do well, or we knew it was going to go somewhere. I mean, I don't think I knew how big it was going to be. And Spencer, once it did awesome, you know, they took off. But when I started Maylene, you know, I liked that being told like, you suck, this sucks, or this song, but you know, like I didn't have yes people again. You know, I had people that were like kind of, so I'd liked having to start a new band and learn it the hard way, you know, because I could have started a band that sounded like Underoath or whatever, and it was like I wanted to do something that felt more, and it was the most complete opposite, you know, and like for as a business standpoint, that probably wasn't the smartest, but I could care less about trying to make it like that. But yeah, I forget. Yeah, I got screwed up on the question there. I started getting, I just go down these rabbit holes. I'm like, man, this is the weirdest interview we had. This guy, it's freaking just goes on to a mumbled mess.
No, these are honestly the favorite type of where it becomes just like a conversation, because you kind of forget you're recording something for other people. I'd much prefer that. You can get those interviews anywhere else, so feel free to ramble.
Well, yeah,
on
because
this.
I'll start and then I start going down like rabbit holes where like we'll start talking, and the next thing you know, I'm like talking about doing laundry or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we were talking about what you thought about our record.
Johnny can't relate to that. He's never done laundry.
But that's me. Those rabbit holes is me every single reaction or interview we do, and I've never had an accident, so I don't have an excuse.
Yes, that's all. Yeah, I have that as a get out of free jail card kind of.
I got
I can
to,
use. Maybe it's just I really would have been like that earlier, but now I can say, hey,
You have an
sorry, I
actual
got
reason.
lost.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
I got to say though, I think this is like a really important chat as well, because I see it from like I've got kids, and I see it from a father's point of view as well. Like,
That's awesome.
so my son, he can be like very sort of self-defeated sometimes. Like he's got a bit of a defeatist attitude, sort of like he's that very sort of, oh, why did this have to happen to me? Like, or why do I always have bad luck? And like, oh, why didn't I win this? Or why didn't I get that? Why
Yeah.
didn't I do that? And I think it's really important to sort of to have chats like this and have people like you who are able to share their experience and talk, because it's true, man. Like life isn't easy. You're always going to have hurdles, and things are always going to make you feel sad. Things are always going to make you feel upset. And yeah, it's really hard to try and get through to a kid that
Oh yeah.
attitude is most of the battle. You know what I mean?
And I've kind of now I've been able to live on either sides of the I guess fence or whatever. Like before my accident, I really was really depressed. Like I didn't say this, but my family, they're like, we don't think you would have made it through the year. Like, and I realized that I was in such a dark place. Like I was getting ready to try to take. I mean, like I took out a bigger life insurance policy. I had packed all my stuff up into storage, and I haven't talked about this much, but like, and then I had this. I never grew up on four-wheelers, dirt bikes, nothing. I had this crazy accident, and it kind of rewired me. But and then after that, when I woke up, it's like I saw life completely different. Where I'm like, all the stuff that got me down, like the label didn't do this, or going through a divorce, or I did, like picking when you're already going through a rough spot, trying to get into acting and is probably the dumbest idea I could ever did, because you're told no and how much you suck all the time in auditions. It's like not good enough. Okay, not so that just added to me like going, I'm not good enough, and um I don't know why I'm alive. Like I'm horrible at everything. I mess up everything I do, and then like and I remember in this room, this is my parents' living room now. It's like my bedroom, living room. I remember telling my mom, I was like, my life's horrible. I don't want to be around either. And I was like, I grew up uh, like, raised like really country, it's a Southern Baptist. It was just crazy. But like,
Yeah.
and I still have my beliefs, but I remember telling my mom, I was like, either I don't know if God exists, or if it does, it hates me like major. And my mom was like, what? And like when I woke up from my accident, it was almost like, to me, like I feel like, to me, like God has a sense of humor, where it was almost like God going, you dipshit, I've been screaming in your ear for years on how much I love you, or like you're loved, like, and you've been thinking like you've been seeing everything that was bad, and you've based your life on that, and that's sad, is a lot of times we become everything that we're like. A bad relationship, what someone tells us in the relationship, we bring that on ourselves.
Yeah.
Or if we don't, even in, like as kids, like you don't win a sport, or someone makes fun of you, we start putting that on ourselves, and then we start thinking that's who we really are. And it's not as easy as it is to, like, just hop out of it.
Yeah.
It is a battle. And I was talking about that today, and no, yesterday. Like, I feel it's hard for kids coming up nowadays. I can't imagine, because it is very just, we live, the world is getting, to me, darker, where it is like it's hard to find that I would be very, because it is very a judgmental,
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
ruthless world. And maybe it's all been like this, but I can just see it from how it is, and it's not. It's because I remember before my accident, people would just be like, "Hey, just have a better, be happy, be happy at what you have or whatever." And it's like it wasn't that easy. And now that's one of the biggest reasons I really feel I survived my accident is to tell people like, "Hey, I know what you're going through. I was there. I
Yeah.
thought life was the worst thing ever, and it really." We make it so hard, but it really is so basic on when when there's somebody wiping your ass and you have a catheter in you and you're getting fed through a straw, you realize what matters. Everything that I thought mattered, or paying bills and all that's like the sun shining through the window and just getting to go outside. I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing ever. And like it just changes your whole perspective where you're like, everything I thought that mattered when it breaks down, that stuff don't matter when it's like life or death. Everything that I built up, like all it when I was fighting for my life, none of that mattered. It was the most basic. The small things became big, the big things, and they're still small. The big things like that I used to stress over, it's like I don't even think about now.
And it's like I still feel that sometimes as well. Like when I'm having a rough day, or like I've got a lot of shit going on in my head, it can be the littlest things that completely changes your attitude. It could be as simple as just going and laying on the beach for 10 minutes and getting some sun and just jumping in the water, and it can completely shift your attitude.
And every day, that's what people don't realize. Like it's a new battle every day, and like I'm still healing, so every day I wake up in horrible pain. So it really is every day for me is like Groundhog Day, and I can't wait to hopefully get the back surgery, so I'm not in pain. But I kind of am thankful because every day I am like woken up with a reminded like you know not to be how I was, or to be thankful for the small things. Like when I wake up in pain, I'm thankful just like when I can stop hurting and get to go to the bathroom and take a pee, to go pee or brush my teeth, like the stupidest little things, but and those are dumb, but it's like, it really is, if we could keep our mindsets like we are when we were kids, that's the joy to life, is just trying to be as innocent as you can in this crazy thing, like you guys, I've watched you guys, and you're having fun, and you haven't lost that excitement and happiness and like lightheartedness. Like that's what it's an awesome thing what you guys are doing, because that's what keeps other people going. Is like they can be like those guys they're enjoying joke. I mean, laughter is the best medicine too. Like any
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest things. I mean, I make fun of myself and laugh more than anything, but
It helps
yeah,
having
it
the maturity
is.
of 12-year-olds. We haven't grown up. We're still just
Oh,
slightly bigger
same
bodies.
here. Yes, I have. Yeah, I am the most pretty image. Well, I act and awkward. I love. I'm one of those type of people where like I'm the only person getting the joke, and everyone's looking at me like that. What is wrong with that dude? And I'm like, inside, I'm laughing. I'm like, this is amazing, and everyone else is like, man, this is making me uncomfortable. Like,
I knew we had something in common.
Yeah, you guys are going to get on great. The weird thing
awesome.
is,
So
because of this, though,
that's
we've got a
awesome.
platform that reaches those people. So we're finding all the idiots that get Johnny's sense of humor because they're all out there just, oh, well, we finally found one of our own. You're not alone.
And it is, yeah. I was just talking today with some of the guys. I've gotten where if you say something that's so off the wall, but if you say it seriously, people's brains can't think, like they can't compute it. So they think like it messes them up, So like one time, one of my doctors was like, is there any medicines you're not taking that are on the list? And I was like, methamphetamine. And she just kept looking for like 5 minutes, and I was like, man, that's meth. But like it throws people off, or like are just saying the most uncomfortable, awkward thing and not laughing, and people don't know what,
That's
and
the one thing you don't have. You laugh at
is
your own jokes.
Yeah, I can't help it. I think I'm
same
hilarious.
here. Yeah, I'll be cracking. I'll send a text to somebody. I'm like, man, this is amazing. I'm laughing.
And they get back the message,
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I call it dipshit humor. Like I am the king of that. Like just
But, well, dude, like no
ragging
one
on
like
myself.
that's why I'm kind of the same with that sort of immaturity. And I'm 40 years old and I'll still laugh at a fart joke or a dick joke,
Oh
and
yeah.
I've got no rush to grow up in that sense. And you would know better than anyone. Like life is too short to not just laugh at things that are silly.
And uh it is, we don't realize that, and that's one of the things my accident really also taught me is like we think we're here forever. Like if you think about Benjamin Franklin or just stuff like it almost sounds like a story, like that wasn't that long ago.
Mm,
Then you think about King Tut in Egypt and all that, and it doesn't even feel like a story like we're only here for like a passing shadow,
Yeah.
like people can't, like, even 100 years ago it doesn't even seem real. So it's like we're here for such a short amount of time, and we get it's I realize when we die, the main things that matter is how you treat your family and the legacy you let, like how people remember you. And it's like, do you want to be someone that just dies and just no one knew, or no one was, you just kind of worked to die, or like having that innocence, and as we were talking about, like people like people getting down, like making people laugh and all that, like it does, like can turn someone's whole day around. Or just
Yeah,
even,
100%.
I don't have filters now, and they used to be bad. I would freak out when I have a PTSD attack, but I don't have filters where I just will straight up tell someone like, hey, I told it was my cousin, like, yeah, I was like, I was like, this sounds awkward, but you light up a room and it was like awkward, it was like, but I was like, I don't mean to be awkward, but with the brain injury, I say the stuff that I used to always think, like, and I'm sure you guys have done that where you'll see somebody, you'll think, I should say something nice to them, or you'll have that on your heart to like do something, and then you don't do it, and then you think about it later, like, man, I should have,
yeah. Yeah, for
told that
sure.
person how nice they were, or been sweet. And so I have that a lot more where I do that now. And I think blessing others, we get a bigger blessing out of blessing others, or helping others. Like I'm sure, like through you guys is like show them what you guys do, to see the people's lives that are in, it's like that makes it worth,
Oh, it's the
makes
best.
it worthwhile. Yeah.
100%.
Best
And
having people reach out and be like, hey, you made it our day. And when I was having a shit day and I saw you guys talk about this music that I like and that improved everything, that's awesome.
and a lot of times we think like, we'll be like, man, like we'll get down and we'll think, I'm just, what am I doing? Like I'm just, what, this is worthless. I don't know what I'm doing. And then somebody will be like, this really like turned and you're like, I didn't even know I didn't even know I did that today. Cause I
Yeah.
was having and like, that is like life, we're I think, we're put here to, be in like a groups, like encourage one another, or not. And like in today's times, it's easy to be and I'm an introvert, but it's easy to want to just shut yourself off. That's kind of encouraged now. It's just being
Yeah.
stuck into this phone.
Yeah, it's
And
so easy as well.
yeah, and even having conversation, reaching, it's hard now, and it's like so having like people like you guys and anyone like to step out, and it encourages other people like maybe I could step out, because um I'm sure like you guys, when you went the same thing I did, where you're like, what are we doing? Like what when you maybe were first starting, like what the heck did we sign up for? Like is this should we not do that? Or, I'm sure there's been times like that, but you got to keep persisting on where, now it's amazing. Same thing with me. There'll be times I'm like, what am I doing? And I'll keep with it. And the thing is, and I see how it blesses other people, and it blesses me as the same. But if I would have given up, when I had those rough spots of
Yeah.
overthinking myself, we wouldn't be to where we are. And life is always, I guess, if we choose, is we can choose to keep growing and keep chasing dreams and
Yeah.
the next thing.
So talking about blessing people and continuing on, what's next for Maylene? What can you talk about? What's the pipeline and what you want to achieve there?
So we've done some, right, but we're so not picky, but we're just trying to, but we're working on, we have some things like we're in the works, and like, yeah, my biggest thing is like, I just want to try to, and I know I don't want to sound like artsy or nothing like that, but to try to trap emotion sometimes on recording. So where people go, I could feel what that person was going through. I could care less about trying to do it to be like how I did my last record, just want to put food on the table, and make it. Like now it's like I could care less. It's a blessing getting to do this, and like all of us have that mindset. So we have a lot of things we're working on. It's just chopping off the fat and getting those done. But yeah.
So you said you've hit the stage again. How was that on your body? Because like, I mean, like I'm that sort of person where even if I'm tired or sore, if I get on a stage or I get out on the soccer field or something, I tend to overdo it, which is why I've got a fucked up back at the moment, because I've done that for
fun.
too long.
Yes.
Were you the same when you got on stage?
We're a lot alike.
Did you kind of have to remind yourself to not go too hard because you are still healing?
What happened was like adrenaline kicked in. Like I was going on adrenaline so much, like leading up even to the shows and all that. Like I was trying to like take so much responsibility on me, like still, and I was going on adrenaline that we did one show. We had a day off, and then we played a festival. And the day after the festival, this thing that I thought I'd never be able to do, and it was like this big, I played a show, and I did this, and I woke up and I was like depressed, angry. I thought I was angry at the guys in the band for I didn't know why, and like I almost was like I'm quitting everything, and like and then I have a friend that's awesome, and like they did research, and if you have brain in anything, if you have a big event like doing that big thing, I used all my adrenaline. So I kind of like when I quit pain meds and I had to grow endorphins again. What this happened is I sucked every bit of adrenaline. It sucked everything out of me. So after we were done, I was like in the most pain. I couldn't move. I mean, like, yeah, it's like and I was still had to get like 9 hours home. And so I was still going on adrenaline, even though I was getting bad. And then when I finally hit home here, like, yeah, I went into like it took me like a month almost. So it's not been that long of just, I was in pain. And then I finally realized, and I apologized to the guy. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I was thinking about quitting or whatever. I was like, I just didn't know what all these feelings that was happening. And it was from overdoing myself. And now I know in the future, know what to plan, for if that happens. But I also know I can't take on the same responsibilities like I did before my accident, because I am
100%.
different now. And so I'm hard headed. So like you said, push yourselves. Like, and when I was learning how to walk again or whatever, like I would just push myself so much where they would be like, you know, way harder than I should have. And there'll be times where I don't complain and I'm just getting around like the amount of pain I'm in, but I'm just used to going hard. And that's how a lot of Florida, my dad and people, like they just don't complain. They just work there. So I had seen that mentality growing up. So, yeah, I'm still learning that on pushing myself because, everything I do, I pay for it. So like with playing those festivals, I paid with this pain and all that, and like the back is the worst. I just found out like 3 months ago I was in such bad pain before the fest that I went to it and I quit pain meds, my cold turkey, and so I was like, I need some kind of help because I'm in horrible pain, and did X-ray and we found out I damaged my back in the accident. So I feel for you because that is a brutal back pain. Is no fun.
I mean, look, obviously it's not to the extent you have, but I had it last, like the other day, and it completely fucked my mood. Like I was in such a bad mood.
Yeah.
I was short, I was angry, I was frustrated. It is crazy how that sort of thing can just really ruin your mindset as well.
Oh yeah, and like I'm learning to like pinpoint it now, but like, I would feel like the biggest asshole too, because I'm like I said, I just played these shows and I'm angry, pissed off, I'm upset, I'm depressed, and like I didn't know what it was, but yeah, like pain, like when you're in bad pain, like it's hard to be, hey, what's going on,
Yeah.
and so I'm even learning that how to just recognize more of like, okay, I'm not a asshole, I'm not upset. I'm dealing with pain or whatever right now, and I need to don't think that's me feeling this way. It's kind of like that pain's hurting that bad that I can't think straight or whatever.
You don't have that excuse. You're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
But that can't. But you can't for now. You can tell me I just got a bad. Sorry. Sorry, I flicked you off, man. It's just my back. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking like a dickhead. I won't give him that. I've given the solution. See a physio, do your exercises, don't be old.
Yes.
Hey, I wanted to
That's
ask you
awesome.
before about, you talked about sharing your blessings with people, and that's the way you can kind of get that. And obviously your music is a blessing. Like look how much joy it brings Johnny and I. What's some music that you're listening to that brings you joy? What's something that got you through probably your hardest times? Can you share that?
I listen to like everything, but when I was coming through my accident, there's a guy, and he's from Florida, and our guitar player's good friends with him, but a band called Mofro and a song called The River, and that song like hit me like gosh. And I listen to like I don't listen I don't listen as much heavy stuff as like, and usually when I do it's like the old, whatever, like old school or whatever.
Yeah.
But I listen to like a lot of like I'm big into lyrics or things like that. Well, and there's an I don't know if he's one person, but it's called Lorne, and a lot of that, the visuals and it's like more electronic, but like that when I was laying in a bed, like just sitting there, stuff like that would resonate with me.
Yeah, cool.
A band called The National.
Love the
Oh
National.
yeah, they're great.
There's a song I remember just crying, even though I can't produce tears, crying my eyes out. That song called Graceless, and I was
Yeah.
just like, and even though that song is sad, I mean, it did help me get through.
Yeah, you relate to those things more.
Yeah,
They say that there's a
and
big thing that showed that when we're sad, we relate to the lyrics. When you're happy, you relate to the music. I'd say you have
yes,
every excuse to relate to the lyrics more during your experience.
yes, and then I listen to everything. So I listen to other stuff, like you said, to make me happy. I'll play K-pop
Hell yeah, we love a bit of K-pop.
with my nephew. Yes, Blackpink. Man, I was bigger than them for a while.
Yeah, we've checked them out on the channel a few
Yeah,
times.
we have,
They're a vibe.
I have to show my Blackpink tattoo. I'm just kidding.
I'd actually be very
But
impressed if you
It's
did
under
that.
the eye patch.
that
That's what hides it.
that would be amazing. But yeah, I like all kinds of stuff. But yeah, those kind of resonated with me.
I'm always
Have
fascinated
you
with
guys ever
hearing that sort of
checked out a
stuff.
band called uh I don't know, I just thought of it, Zeal and Ardor? Have you
Oh,
guys ever
dude,
He's
reviewed them?
obsessed with them. Yeah, we haven't checked him out
dude.
on the
Okay,
channel, but
I don't
we
know why
both
that
listen to them.
popped in my head, but
I
that did just then because I was thinking of I was thinking of my accident, and I was like, I remember I was huge into like the Devil's Messiah, or whatever,
Yeah.
and like black metal to sound like Radiohead to
yeah,
like black
gospel,
gospels.
country,
Yes, it's
southern.
like,
It's the weirdest thing you mentioned that because I was
but it
literally before
works.
you said that, I was just thinking, I bet he'd be into Zeal and Ardor. I 100% not
Really?
lying. I was thinking that. I'm like, I wonder if he listens to them because it's got that southern thing as well, but it's got the like, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
that's our bass player let me hear that, and I was like, this is there's a band called what's the name? I can't even think. The feud, no, not the future. I can't think. But they have a song that like hits uh Future Islands, I think. Future Islands, maybe. But they have a song that really hit home, like major to me. And their other songs, but yeah, that's funny that you were thinking. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're great because you
fantastic
don't think
band.
it does work, and it does work. It's like
Yeah, fully. The first
how
time I heard, I
all
was
the
like, this is a strange combination, but I'm into it.
yes, that's
100%.
awesome.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
dude, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out. As we said, we're so stoked to one, see that you guys are back recording and sharing your gifts, but also to kind of see that you're a stronger person for the other side of this. It's very inspirational. So thanks for taking the time to share it.
Oh, thanks for having me. Come on. Oh, where do you? What part of Australia?
We're about an hour away from Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
gosh,
I've mentioned
I
to
love.
you, I mentioned to you over text, like, one of my favorite concert memories was at Soundwave Festival, I think it was, and like you guys
Oh yeah.
playing, you just coming out into the crowd, and just me and one of my buddies with our arms around you, and you were just letting us sing, and it's those sorts of moments that like really stick with you when you see a band, and it's sort of like more than just the music, it sort of resonates with you as to why you connect with that band, sort of thing. So yeah, that was sick. So,
I
dude,
love. I mean,
I
I
hope you guys get back here one day.
Australia is I love it so much. That's like my favorite place to tour. I think I just like I don't know. I just like the feeling. It feels like a lot of it feels like parts of Florida, but nicer
The fact
and
that you
less.
reference Bogans is just, it shows that you get us.
Yeah.
Not many people get
Yes,
that.
I was hoping I got that right.
Yeah, you absolutely
I
nailed
was
it.
hoping I got that right, and I used to always try to catch on to all like the little slangs, but we'll hit like what, driving all over the shop. Is that another one
Yeah,
about keep it
yeah.
going? Yeah. I
Well
sound like
done.
an idiot, but I'm trying to. Yeah,
To us, you sound Australian, so it's fine. It's just with Australian with an accent.
I, I love. That's like my favorite. You guys have like it's my favorite accent. If I could talk like and not be written, I would. My Siri, it is Australian accent,
Ah,
so it's pretty funny.
I was reading the other day. I don't know if you've seen it. Charlie Hunnam's just started a new series called Shantaram. It's based on a book about a guy that goes to India and he's like comes out of jail. It's a very very long book. It's a sick book. He's just started a series and he plays an Australian in that. And I saw an interview with him. He's like, I can't get the accent. They just make noises that no one else makes mid sentence.
Yeah, it's awesome. You got yeah. I like how you say it. No, it's one of my
Nah.
nerve, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah, yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that. The
Yeah,
no,
no.
we say no with there's an A in the no somehow.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I love it over there. I'm a big foodie too, so any kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you get back here one day, man, and we'll go for a bite and hang out.
Get some wedges with sweet chili sauce, I guess, and sour cream. Is that like, am I
That's
right?
it.
Oh,
You're very right.
That's it.
I could eat
He's
that
speaking
all
Johnny's
the time.
language.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't get
That
one of
is
these with
awesome.
salad.
Yes.
Well,
That
dude,
is
again,
awesome. Yeah.
we won't take up too much of your time. We'll let you get going. You've had a big day, but yeah, like Nate said, thanks so much, man, for hanging out. Like, we're both huge fans, and it is really a miracle that you're here, and you are an absolute inspiration. So hopefully, people watch this and they can find a little bit of that mentality inside of them as well to move forward.
Exactly. Yeah. Just, keep going and don't give up, and if you're going through a hard time in life, that season will, it will change, it's not forever. And, we're all in here, this together. So I think it's awesome. And what you guys are doing too, I hope it just continues. Yeah, you guys have energy and a positive yeah, I think you guys are doing awesome work. So,
Thanks, man.
Thanks so much, dude.
Really
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
thanks for
that.
having me on.
And
Yes,
hey,
thanks for having me on.
can't wait to hear more stuff from you. As soon as you've got anything ready to go, reach out. We'll always
For sure.
help you guys out, help promote you and stuff. So
That's
thanks so
awesome.
much, dude.
Thank
Appreciate
you guys so much. And yeah, I hope you guys have a blessed rest of the week.
You
Thanks,
too, man.
mate. You too.
Thanks, dude.
Peace.
All right, take it easy, guys. Thanks again.